Hello, hello, fellow watchers and enjoyers. Piggy and Ash here from watching Walford.
Hello.
Yeah, Ash is there. He just said hello. We're here to bring you another episode of the Classic Podcast. Again, what is the Classic Podcast? Well, you're 6 episodes deep, or you should know by now. It's where we go through 1985 EastEnders. If you're wondering why we're not talking about 2023 EastEnders, this is the Classic Podcast. I don't know what to tell you.
It's either the Classic Podcast or Watching Walford 1985. Honestly, we just fluctuate on the names.
Yeah. But without further ado, how are you, Ash?
Yeah, doing alright. Don't really need to be. I suppose we don't need to spend like 15 minutes like we do on the normal podcast going through this. But yeah, it's decent, honestly. I was saying this now, and it's going to come out in like a week later. But so we're planning all the stuff for the Christmas episodes, which it's been fun. There's some really funny ideas in there. There's some good stuff and stuff to sink our teeth into. I'm doing good though, mate. It's a bit hot in the UK currently. It's like fucking, I don't know how hot it is, but it's sweaty. I'm sweaty. It's 28 degrees. How are you doing, Piggy?
Jesus, that tea went the wrong way. I'm good. Some interesting stuff happened on this episode.
Yeah, it definitely.
You can tell we're in 1985.
It really is a funny little fucking. I think that EastEnders now, obviously the first couple of weeks, they're fairly standard. They're like starting to just like establish the characters, but like slowly as we get more into the months and they reintroduce some of the more classic characters, like so when Dot arrives, like I'm not saying the first year is bad, but the second year like hits a lot harder and is a lot like, they're working on like, oh yeah, let's just do this brand new soap idea, and it's good. It is good. I like it. It's been fantastic to watch so far. But the more time passes, the better it gets. Let's be honest.
Yeah, because obviously you can start out strong when you're creating something new. You can, if you want, you can try, but chances are, if you start out strong, you're likely going to finish weak, is in my opinion. Whereas if you start out kind of in the middle, not strong and not weak, and then you gradually build to getting stronger, then like it's good. A classic example of that for Ash is modern day Futurama. They started out strong, and then they just released at the time of recording this. So when this comes out, the episode will be outdated, but that doesn't matter. Current episode that's out is they're talking about the COVID pandemic, but it's not called COVID. It's just basically the future, how the future would deal with COVID. It's called Explovid. Where they use Zoom, they kind of use masks, and I'm like, guys, I understand you're using modern times, so to say, but you could find a way to make it more the year 30,000, like, you know what I mean? I think it's 30,000.
Fair. It's I think it's just 3,000.
That's just a comparison. That's just a comparison because people who know. Well, I tried to get into Futurama, but find it very hard. But it does seem like a good show.
It is a really fun show. It's a funny show. It's one of the only like adult animated like TV shows. I've watched a lot more Futurama than I have, say, The Simpsons or. Isn't there another show that I guess Family Guy kind of is similar? It's not entirely the same, but
No. Okay. See, the problem with Family Guy is classic. Here's my problem with Family Guy is Family Guy had a roof, right? So usually in soaps, and this is the same for comedies, the same for movies, you have a level of limits that you can do. Like in soaps, they can't show porn, they can't show someone getting violently marked pre-watershed. The Family Guy had a limit on what they could do in the early years. And then when Fox kind of went, do what you want, they went, you know what'd be funny? Slandering trans people. slandering blacks, slandering Muslims.
Yes,
then
if
it's
we
just
do
off the rails.
literally everything we can.
And then kind of now they've kind of gone back on it, I think, a little bit. Like a perfect example for Family Guy is Glenn Quagmire in the early seasons was a pervert. It's not like there's no sugarcoating it. He was a pervert.
Yeah, for
If
sure.
people think he wasn't, you're stupid if you don't think he was. But he wasn't, I should say. But as time gone on, they've tried to get rid of his character that he's a pervert and more just a grumpy 60-year-old man who likes cats and has a trans mom. So like it's a perfect example. Like one of the worst
trajectory of the character.
Yeah, but one of the worst Family Guy episodes, and that's saying much because that trans episode they do is horrible. But one of the worst episodes they do is the fucking Glenn Quagmire's sister getting beaten by a man, and then it ends with Glenn finally killing him. I'm like, Jesus, guys, you're really pushing the limits of what you can show.
Yeah.
Like South Park as well is another example, but the thing with South Park is they know the limit. They make fun of the limit, but they know the limit. It's the same.
I don't know. I feel like the South Park example probably isn't that great either.
Yeah, but like
because it feels like a lot of the same tendencies that come from South Park also show up in like Family Guy. Of just maybe you guys just shouldn't be able to just shit out your opinion on something, but regardless, it's not fucking. I was gonna loop it round to an actual point.
But if that was just a comparison, like you can't start off strong. You can try, but you'll end up getting a weak episode.
Well, what you need to do is you need to. The start may not be fantastic, but you need to lay the foundation, right? You need to know like where you want to go and how you're going to do it. Your ideas and your plans aren't always going to be exactly well thought out because, you know, you start out writing something brand new. It's fucking brand new. You got to figure out what works and what doesn't. And like very early on, they've realized, the Mark Fowler actor, well, he's having a lot of trouble, so I guess we can't really rely on him to be the main character. Now we've got to rewrite it. Now we've got to change it. And these challenges just makes for a much more versatile, like, writing team and a much more versatile, like, cast. So yeah, as long as you lay the foundation and then go from there.
Okay, just one quick movie example I want to put in. Ted 1 laid the foundation. Was a good film. Not a great film. It was a good film. Ted 2, absolutely shit. Just the dog's bollocks shit.
Dog's bollocks is a good thing.
Oh yeah. Well, the dog's bollocks was dripped in shit. Like. So like, most of Seth MacFarlane's films that he did was shit. Let's be honest. A Million Ways to Die in the West. Ted 2. I can't think of any more. But like American Dad and the Cleveland Show, I recommend. For anyone who wants to watch some Seth MacFarlane. But yeah, mine. And
yes, everybody who wants to watch Seth MacFarlane definitely watches an EastEnders classic podcast.
My name is Dorothy Den, and I'm proud to be back in my hometown of Walford. But yeah, I digress. The three main storylines we're going to run through are Dirty Den knows about the affair. You want to know whose affair he knows about? You'll find out. Ian Beale, and this just shows how much you were able to get away with in the 80s. Ian Beale shows a porno. Well, we don't see the porno. If the people see the porno, we don't.
The people.
It's pretty watertight.
Ian is a man of the people.
Michelle, Sharon, the other guy, and Kelvin.
Yeah.
We hear it, but we don't see it. And it has one of the best duck ups I've ever seen.
Exactly.
And finally, Mary the Punk's dad finds her.
In the order I suggest we go through probably do Mary the Punk's dad first, then we go to the porno, and then we do the Den knows about the affair.
Okay, so let's start off with Mary the Punk's dad. Mary the Punk's dad, who is he? Well, he's a bloke, if you couldn't tell.
Sound. Great descriptor there,
There you
mate.
go. There you go. End of the show. End of the podcast. Roll the credits. He's a bloke. That's it. See you later. Bye bye. I've been Piggy from Watching Walford. Joined by Ash. See you later. Follow us on everything. Bye. But yeah, Mary the Punk's dad is a bloke. He starts snooping around the Queen Vic. He's like, and he starts asking, oh, what the fuck's his name? Not Arthur. The other one.
Pete.
He starts like, oh no, Pete. No, well, he doesn't know Pete, but you know, he's a stranger, so he's just like.
He's just doing some proper digging, like.
Yeah. And like, so he basically snoops around. Mary thinks the what the fuck are they called now? The social workers are after her, because obviously she's raising a child in a damped bedroom for like £50 a week. Like, assume rent's not going to be high in that flat.
Can't imagine, but
well,
money's just harder to come by in those days, really.
Well, I say the rent would be about £50 in 1985. In 2023,
it would be like a fiver a week, and in 2020 it'd be like 400 quid.
In 2023 it'd be about £1,000.
In London, yeah.
Who cares if it's run down? It's a flat, isn't it? We have a bed, sleep in it. You know, mate, the walls are falling in. It's only an interior design, it'll be fine. But yeah, so yeah, Mary the Punk's dad basically goes looking for her, and Mary thinks social workers are after her. She starts interrogating, Sue. I think it's Sue.
Probably.
And what the fuck's the man's name? The Turk.
Ali
and Sue. She starts interrogating Ali and Sue, and sorry, I can't remember names. I'm so sweaty here. So yeah, she goes around investigating, asking them like, "Oh, did you ring the social worker?" No. But one day she walks through the park, and who does she see but her dad? Sadly, it was not a duff. Should have been a duff.
Probably.
But again, it's 1985 EastEnders. It's more comedic.
Yeah, true. One of the things that we get to figure out is obviously we learn that Mary's relationship with her dad is pretty it's very frosty, it's very different because it's strained, yeah. It's interesting to, like I said, another excerpt from the EastEnders, The Inside Story, the book where they talk about the making of EastEnders. I'm not going to give an extract, but essentially it is like she was brought up in like an Irish Catholic family. Her dad was a lorry driver, and I don't even know what their mum, I think she was just very naggy. And she was all like nice and proper till about 15, and then she went to a gig and just fell in love with the band, fell in love with like the punk scene, and kind of, it's quite funny how she kind of like everything changed, in a moment everything changed. They stole that writing from Mary the Punk's gig. What am I trying to actually talk about now? But yeah, it's a very strong relationship. They don't get along. They don't see eye to eye. The dad sounds very genuine and wants to help, but clearly believes that she would be better off if she were with him and the mum.
See, it's kind of the problem in the 80s, and we're kind of going back to it in the 2020s, where religion kind of rules over, people don't have an opinion. They rely. It's the exact same in modern day. People don't have an opinion. They rely on a celebrity. It's the exact same in the 80s. Instead of a celebrity, it was Jesus hates Christ. The H stands for Philip. They relied on Jesus. Like, oh no, you can't have sex before marriage. Why? The Lord said so. Yeah, but didn't the Virgin Mary have sex before man? Shut up.
I mean, I say this. The dad isn't, like, outwardly that religious.
No, but...
I'll say that much. Like, we don't need to... Don't really need to, like, make a point mocking religion or whatever, because it's not really the case in this one.
Yeah, but fuck religion.
Like, you can't just use this to fucking... religion's fucking stupid, like... It's like, well, it's not happening, is it? It's not.
I just wanted to make the point that it's grew up in a Catholic home.
Yeah.
And it must have been very hard.
You can't be like the Twitter people and see something you dislike and then you say, well, this bloody religion, like... And then it's like, we weren't talking about religion, though. It is... Like, it'd be exactly like those people, like, you're just changing the goalposts. Yep.
Again, just wanted to make the point about religion. Just that must have been very hard. Again, going back to it, nothing much happens. Mary just gives out to her dad, like, what are you doing here? Please leave. Don't handle my baby. Please just leave.
Essentially, just like, shit's different now, lads. Like, this ain't the fucking same. I'm not here for it. I'm not fucking here for it.
Yeah, and basically Lofty comes in and it's like, oh, Mary, how are you? Get the fuck out, Lofty. I told you about my family and you went and got my family. Why? And Lofty's clueless. He's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? No.
Yeah, because clearly Lofty has no fucking clue. Like, what the fuck did I do? Nothing. Didn't do nothing.
So yeah, not much to say on Mary's, like, dad. That's all I can really say. Like, is he just came in for about 2 scenes?
Yeah.
Or 4 scenes.
I mean, we will get to see... I think we get to see him a little bit more. Something I didn't realise is he's actually a character who does stick around a bit more. Like, he's a bit more of, like, a recurring character. It's pretty interesting. Kind of cool. But yeah, it's just it's one of those things. Quite cool. It's nice to see. You get to see a bit more of the depth towards Mary's character, because she didn't have the best life. All right, she tried, but you know, I mean, as we'll later see. I won't drop that little nugget of information, but you know, Mary's had a pretty rough life. She just wants to feel like she belongs, and she feels like she belongs, like being punk and like raising Annie by herself. And you know, the dad wants to help, but ultimately Mary's only really so forgiving. It's just it's a cool little story, you know. It's a, like, I feel like a lot of people don't ever really... A lot of characters get this, but like 2 years in. It's like, we've had your main storyline. We've had your main introduction storyline, Steve. But 2 years later, here's Steve's family. Here's how he grew up. Let's sympathize for Steve now. And it's like... I like it. I like how they make it a part of the character. Like, it's a key part of Mary's character, the fact that she's run away. That's kind of how it works. It's just, yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. I love it.
So we might as well jump into Ian Beale, the new chef of Walford, of the Queen Vic, not Walford. Oops. So Ian, you all know Ian Beale as a weasel, a little scandal, little pathetic bitch, nearly getting food poisoned, killing a child.
Yes.
What else can I rope in about Ian Beale? Nearly getting assassinated. I've got nothing left. Cindy Beale, Jane Beale.
Exactly.
Fuck, I'm trying to think of what else. The cafe, the Queen Vic now.
That time he was supposed to be homeless, but shaved his head, so they had to put a weird wig on him. Great fun.
Yeah, Ian Beale, you all know Ian Beale. So what does Ian do this week? Well, I think they wanted to get Dirty Dancing, was it?
No, it was just some form of dance movie, really.
They wanted to get a dance movie, right? And instead, Ian got a little porny. I'll give you the rundown of why he got a porno. There's no rundown, but I will give the backstory. So basically, Ian, and Kelvin prank call Sharon.
Yeah.
And pretending to be, what's the guy's name? Chlorio?
Chaz.
Chaz. Pretending to be Chaz. And Sharon's like, oh yeah, Michelle, Chaz called.
Doing it like how they were fucking with Sue. Just, is Ali on the phone, please? Sorry, who? Mum, I told you to stop ringing me like this.
Mom, you're embarrassing me in front of my friends. You don't have any friends. But you're embarrassing me. But yeah, so they basically prank called Sharon, who is a bit pissy at her mom. I'll tell you why, but she's more involved in the main. She's not really involved in the main storyline, but she basically is upset with Angie because, well, you'll find out why. So yeah, she, you know, so they just have fun. They hang around like kids. Ian gets in trouble by Michelle because Ian's like, oh yeah, Chaz is coming. And then Michelle's like, you fucking prank called me. You get into that sitting room now. Boy, know your place. And it's like, you fucking, Sharon's gonna think I'm making it all up. So they have to phone it. So Kelvin has to phone in a friend. And who is this friend? We don't know the actor's name. It is Chaz.
Fucking Pimple McGee. Fucking,
you leave him alone.
Fucking, what's his name? Fucking acne treatment. Don't know. That's just what drag names are, aren't they? Fucking. Oh, hello. My name is Pimple. I just dress up as like grotesque fucking. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Bring him back.
I'm not saying he's disgusting, but man alive, he needs to get them spots under control. Like, it's a hard time. We've all been there. But good lord. Just be glad that this isn't like a picture or video podcast, because you would have to look at his fucking face.
Can we bring him back for the 40th anniversary?
Maybe. Start a petition.
Bring back Pimple McGee.
I mean, too far. I just vote to fucking bring back actual Michelle. I know that she's like retired from acting and has been retired for years, but like, she'd just be so good. She'd be so cool. Anyways.
But yeah, so Ian's like, I've got a dance movie, and Sharon's like, oh, Michelle's like,
I want to watch the dance movie. Because everything Sharon does is just camp as fuck. Like,
very posh.
Big hair. It's funny that I remember there was like an interview somewhere where we listened to, you know, Sharon talk about her getting cast. I think it was during the time that I think it was around like the lockdown times, and there was like Stacey Dooley or something. She was doing these like little sit-down interviews with some of the characters, you know. Had some of the famous moments. It had the interview where it was revealed that the actress who plays Shirley is actually a massive sweetheart. And like, she just like cries at anything. It's absolutely adorable. Especially when you think about the like, because Shirley's like a massive battle axe, but then you see her like just crying because she read a good story. It's like, wholesome. But Sharon mentioned how obviously she lied when she was getting interviewed to be in EastEnders, because she's from like Hertfordshire, which is posh. Like the actress is pretty fucking posh, like central London, like not East End, essentially.
Right.
But it was But like, it's why she's a lot more posh in comparison to, like everybody else on the show. It was just an interesting little tidbit.
Yeah. So yeah, Sharon posh. So that probably explains why like Dan and Angie are also like very snobby as well.
Yeah, I mean,
not
it's
really.
kind of. I mean, it's another interesting thing is that if Den calls Sharon his princess, he does just believe that he is the king. So there's a whole lot of there is a whole lot of like, you know, King of the Vic, King of the Castle, King of the Queen Vic. You know, like obviously Angie has a taste for the finer things. Sharon's very spoilt. That's why I fucking hate it when she's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna smother Kelvin with my fake fucking laugh." Shut your mouth, Sharon.
Why was Sharon brought back to EastEnders?
She is a great character.
Yeah, but I don't like her.
Yeah, but you don't need to. But she's campy. She's iconic. She's great. If she was with somebody that anybody else other than Keanu, I'd be a lot happier.
Bring back Kelvin. Have her get together with Kelvin.
Yeah, bring him back. I'd love to see Kelvin back.
And then I can't wait for Twitter fans to be like, "Who the fuck is Kelvin? Who the fuck is he?
Who the fuck is this guy? We've only watched 2010's EastEnders." Oh, come on. I say that's me, but you know. But yeah, Ian gets everybody round. Sharon's round. Kelvin's around. Michelle's around. And Chaz, who is the mystery man that Michelle's been talking about. He's disgusting. They turn all the lights down. They made a bunch of sandwiches. And then we just hear like a, "Oh!" And everybody's like, bloody hell, what's this then? And now obviously Pete arrived and he's like, "Sorry, get out, you little fuckers. I can't believe you're watching bloody porno with all your mates." And then just Ian's a bit embarrassed and it's funny. And then obviously it leads into the Duff Duff, which is the best, one of my favourite Duff Duffs I've ever seen. As Kathy and Pete fucking start watching the porno and just start giggling at it, and that's the Duff Duff.
What was it, like a dominatrix fucking porno? I'm confused.
I don't know, mate.
Because it said it was one woman with a whip with 6 men.
Exactly. Bend over, lads. It's for a whipping.
Whip it good. But yeah, so you know, he's just always made this porno. Who says porn's rotting your brain?
Very funny, like very funny little section. If you do get the chance, I would go and rewatch it because it's just it's EastEnders comedy, right? Just like oh bloody hell, what's this? Everybody's like looking in a bit more intently. If there was popcorn, just oh. Everybody's like, "Oh wow." It's like that like cat reaction of just wow.
That sounds like Waluigi. Wow. It reminds me of the
great stuff.
It reminds me of the South Park episode, the fucking 3 lads want to go watch Lord of the Rings. But I think how does it go? They accidentally bring a porno, and they show Butters the porno.
Oh, Jesus.
So he thinks Lord of the Rings is about shagging. So when they go ask Butters to play with him, he starts shagging Kyle. He starts humping his leg. Like, "Butters, get off me!" And they return to the wrong movie. It reminded me of that for some reason. OG South Park is good. For anyone who wants to watch. Yeah. Hit me up if you want to watch it. But yeah. It's not invented until another 15 years. Would it be 15? No, 12 years. Sorry. 12 years. So yeah. Interesting stuff. So let's get on to our final goodbye for this. Dirty Dan knows about the affair. Where are we now? Dan is in Spain. We're in Spain with Dan. And we're just left with Angie and Sharon and Rolly. Don't forget Rolly. And Angie basically is all sad because she has to lie to Sharon, and she's leading one man on, and one man in particular. And that man is, what's his name?
Tony fucking Carpenter.
Poor Tony. He's been led on, he's been led astray. He's not been handled nice. So yeah, she's leaving Tony Carpenter on. Why would you? And Tony's like, look, is this real or is this just a fling? And she's like, is this a fling? Or I am leaving.
And
she doesn't do.
It's really quite sad because she's just like, this is just a fling. And she's like, no. And just like acts like she doesn't fucking know. It's just like, because you know that she does want like more. She does. But she also just wants Den. Like, if she wasn't so in love with Den, she would probably be happy. But she's just infatuated by him.
See, the problem I have is I love Dirty Den as a character, but I'm like, if they again, I look at it as if it was real life. Yeah. Imagine like being in Angie's shoes, where your husband is sleeping with could be a man, could be a woman, probably a woman, is sleeping with another woman, and like you're just like, Jesus Christ, like, might as well sleep with a man, and then the man's like, but are you leading me on? And Angie has to be like, you know, this floor was built actually by the Romans. You know, where you're standing is where the Romans fought the British. Where you're actually standing. No, I didn't ask that. I'm asking you lead. And you see this roof. Leonardo DiCaprio built that. All right, fuck you then. Like, imagine being led on. Wasn't he nice?
Yeah, it's one of those things, and essentially Den gets back, he's got a fucking cowboy hat on and he's in a weird suit with a tan.
I thought he was wearing shorts. To me, so it looked like he was wearing shorts, so he like cut the trousers in half, where he just cut the legs of it out, and he's just wearing his shorts. But Den doesn't seem like a guy who'd wear shorts. In the show and in real life. Like,
yeah,
he seems like
I can imagine.
He's a suit man, I think, through and through.
Definitely.
Well, in years later, he turns into Alfie Moon. Like, he turns into a second Alfie Moon.
True, he does wear the big leather jacket.
No, it must have been hot filming them scenes with the big, massive leather jacket.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, like, Den is back from his holiday. You know, he's got a bit of a tan. And he's a bit mad at Sharon, because Sharon's not revealing, and Sharon's like upset with him. And like, Den wants to know why. And like, obviously we know that Angie told Sharon that, yeah, he's not gone to Spain, you know, for a holiday home. He's gone for a quick shag and pull.
Yeah.
Shag, pug, run. Like, he's not there permanently. He's just having a shag. And Sharon's like, oh, why do my parents not love each other? And I'm like, Sharon. I'm like, Sharon, your father is dirty. Well, you're not your biological father, but your father is Dirty Den. If I had one man not to date on my list, Den would be up there.
Yeah, no, like, agreed. He is a massive bellend.
Because how I put it is, like, this also, it feels like I'm blurring the lines, because Leslie Graham also seems like a bellend, but I have to talk about Den, but it seems like the characters intertwine. That makes sense.
Yeah, Den is, he's just, I mean, Den is dirty. He is only in it for himself, really, and like, it's just sad because people fall in love with him, but he's only ever in it for himself. Like, he and Sharon are the only two people he, like, truly loves.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just showed off so much in his relationship with Angie, because Angie loves him and wants her to love him, but he's been with his mistress for like 5 fucking years now. Like, it's a bit more than a fling at this point, isn't it?
Obviously, the one thing I want to do is cover Dan's entire run, and then do his return run.
Yeah.
From like 03 to 05.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, cause I think Den is an interesting character. Like, people, especially me, we look back at Den and laugh at him because of what happened with Leslie Graham. We obviously look back and laugh at him. But he is an iconic character.
He truly is one of the most iconic EastEnders characters.
It's just a shame that his actor wasn't Bellin, the guy who played him.
Yeah.
Like, and I know people are going to go, don't speak ill of the dead.
He couldn't help himself.
Yeah, I bet if Leslie Graham was alive, he would even call himself a Bellin. I'm telling you, he would.
I mean, it was interesting reading a bunch of like excerpts from his book where he's like, you know, when you're making a mistake and you know it's wrong, but you just keep doing it anyways because fuck it, it's too far gone now. Like, it's just funny. But yeah, do you want to get into the, you know, what Den actually does when he realizes why Sharon's upset?
I just quickly want to wrap it up and say, like, again, all due respect to Leslie Graham, but if I see a bell end, I'm calling him a bell end. I don't care. If it upsets you, it upsets you.
I mean, he definitely had his demons, like.
Yeah, he definitely did have his demons, but, you know...
He is still one of the most iconic EastEnders characters. Like, there's a reason why they brought him back, because he's so cool. He's such an interesting character. You hate him, but you love him as well. Like, you're like, oh, Den, you're such an asshole, but you're still really likable.
See, there's something, just to kind of go off topic for 1 second, there's something I really want to do, and I really want to rebook his, like, last year in EastEnders. Not his second last year, not his first last year in 1989.
I don't know if I would.
I would change it, and I would keep him on the show for another year or two. Truly, like, just truly make him evil to get his comeuppance. And then have Phil come in and be like, you fucking threw me under a bus, fucko. And Phil be the one who kills him. Because it would make sense. Because Phil's on the run because of him.
Yeah,
so you just have Phil be the one.
No, honestly, I mean, like I said, I would too like to cover Den's like exit, but we'll do it once we get to 1989. And then when we do that, we'll skip forward and watch a bunch of the Den stuff and see his exit and go through it. But I do believe that him truly being just like him essentially realizing basically he is attacked by the 3-1 who he's hurt the most. He's hurt Chrissy, obviously Angie can't be there. He's hurt Sam, who he used to get the pub, and Zoe, who he used to get to Dennis. And then, you know, like when Sharon like walks out in the shadows, akin to like how he walked out when he returned. Like, I just think it was a really smart way to do it. It's just a shame that the media kind of overrides a lot of the talks of the return, because it's a very strong return. It's a very good return. He definitely got a lot of really interesting stuff to work with. But I just feel like it's overshadowed by the scandal. And that's kind of that's the saddest part about it, because it is genuinely fantastic.
Yeah, but again, any chance I can, I love bringing it up. Hello, princess. So when he steps out of the shadow, like fucking Batman, like, hello, princess. It's just brilliant. Leslie Graham did cover a show, and I forget what it was called. It was like something like Fort Boyard, where it was like a show.
Yes.
I can't really describe it, but anyone wants to go see Leslie Graham.
I mean, it's one of those. Also, just to appease anybody who's slightly more upset, it is obviously Leslie Grantham. It's not Graham.
I call him Graham. Me and him go back.
I know, but hey, some people might be like, fuck it, it's not fucking Graham, it's Grantham, fucking Grantham. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he presented Fort Boyard for a bit.
Yeah,
Fort Boyard's another one of those like akin to the. It's like those, basically those really cool fucking like shows where they took kids to like cool little sets, locations, and made them like do challenges. Like those really cool like fucking shows that I don't know if they really exist anymore.
No. We obviously know why they probably don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Raven's a banger.
Raven is a banger, but anyone wants a hint like Fort Boyard and shows like Fort Boyard don't exist anymore. Begins with an E and ends with an N. So yeah, go if you want Leslie Graham, like, you want to see him host the show, just being himself. Go watch Fort Boyard. He does dress like Den, though. It's the funny thing. So it's literally like Den got killed off and just went, fuck it, I'm hosting a TV show. I truly wish that was written into the EastEnders canon, that he hosted a TV show while he was dead. But anyways, back to Den. So Den arrives back. You see him with his lovely sombrero. I think he's wearing a sombrero.
Yes.
And
it's a cowboy hat, I think.
Oh, I thought it was a sombrero. He has a tan, and my detection camera, he has a big bloody brown tan. Like he's been soaking the sun up. I don't know if he was wearing a mankini, but he's definitely soaking the sun up. Hopefully getting them legs tan, getting them cheeks tan, getting your arms tan, the places where you should get tan. So yeah, he's arrived back, I should say. He's arrived back. Sharon is like, "Oh, Dad, welcome back," and Sharon's like, "So Dad, what did you get up to in Spain?" And Dan's like, just went to check out the holiday home." "What did you get up to, Dad?" Like, "Just check out the holiday." "What did you get up to?"
Dan, have you been shagging any other women whilst you've been in Spain? Because Angie told Sharon, not in so many words, but just since she went, you know why he's there, right? And it's not because we're going on holiday to Spain next year.
Funny.
And so this obviously upsets Sharon a bit more. She thinks the parents don't love each other, which they obviously don't. It's quite wild to see that she even Sharon is convinced that, the parents always love each other and are always going to stay together. But she doesn't know. And fuck, where am I going? It's just kind of, it's a bit of sadness because, that's Sharon's whole world. It's why she really loves the Vic so much, because it's just really important to her. But
wasn't Den's body buried under the Vic?
Yes.
Oh, I knew it. See, I am an EastEnders expert. Yeah, so he's back from holidays. I would love to ask him how his time went on holidays, because he does seem like, although he seems like he seems like niche for people who watch this, strictly don't watch 2023 EastEnders. Niche is basically Dirty Dan, but without the affairs. He's just very strict with his wife.
Without the affairs, and Den is a bit of a narcissist, but he's also a bit more likable. He's a bit more of like a rogue, Yeah, but again, I do kind of compare him to Nish, because like, if Dan could talk about anyone for hours upon hours, it's either Sharon or the best fucking person he knows, himself. Exactly.
So yeah, I would love to sit down and talk to him and be like, "Dan, how was your holiday?" And then he'd be like, you won't believe the amount of women I've shagged.
Oh, he come up with some proper stories, like.
I just hope he starts off with the whole thing. Don't know how many women I've shagged them all. From Magaluf to Spain. And then Dan, what are you doing? I don't know. But yeah, he's back. Angie's upset. He knows that something's going on with Angie. And he talks to Tony. And they're basically playing darts. And I'm like, oh no, Tony, please don't play darts with Dan. He's going to stick that dart somewhere you don't want to be seen.
Yeah.
He's got to stick that in your eye. And he's like, oh yeah, how was Angie? And Tony's like, yeah, she was good, yeah. And basically, Tony doesn't let it stick that him and Angie were fooling around.
Yeah.
I don't know why Dan would be upset about Tony fooling around with Angie. Because,
Dan's got an ego. He doesn't want people talking.
I guess so, but still.
Well, it's the whole point about Den and Angie is when they're in front of the pub, it's on show, like they're doing a performance type deal. Like, it's all happy, look at Den and Angie, the ideal couple, they're so happy together, everything's perfect. And then obviously when you peel back the curtain, well, they don't. Like, Angie loves Den loves the idea that he's not, like, Den loves having Angie there so he can, like, be like, oh, look, he's a happily married man, you know, a good family unit. Like, he's just, he loves the image that being with Angie gets, but really just doesn't love Angie at all. Actively dislikes Angie.
Yeah. So, not much to say on this, other than there's a brilliant scene with Lofty where Sharon's giving out to Dan and Lofty's just stood there with the crowd like, guys.
Well, I suppose the key point of this is that obviously it leads to the final duff, where obviously Den speaks to Angie and Angie's like, yes, I was sleeping around. And then Den just goes, I'd rather you not do that. And she's like, what? So you can have your mistress and just be doing what you want, but I can't. And, you know, he's just like, yes. And it's like, oh, Den, you dirty fucking dog. Can't have your cake and eat it too.
Well, it is Den. He can do what he wants.
Yeah, and he will.
Like, I'm saying if I had to put my suspicion on anyone being a wife beater in 1985 EastEnders, but if I was put my suspicion on anyone, it would be Den. Like, instantly. Feel like he'd slap a bitch. Like,
or a woman, as people who have respect call them.
Women.
Me, slap a bitch.
Go, slap a woman. As the hood say, slap a bitch. You know, I'm part of the hood. They call me Ice Piggy Wiggy for a reason in the hood. Modern day Ice Cube. So yeah. I don't know where I'm going with this. Dan and Angie have a falling out, and well, we're going to see what this leads up to, because it takes a year to lead up to.
Yes.
And everyone knows what this leads up to.
The most famous EastEnders duff of all time, I believe.
Yeah. You want to go into the final section?
Yeah, I guess. Ultimately, I think it's just really fun to see the dynamic between Angie and Den, because it's always fireworks. Like, you know, you can tell that when they were actually in love and truly together, this was like dangerous and exciting and, like, you know, I'm not saying they'd shag in public, but they'd totally be like, yeah, fucking right here, right now, in the fucking public. Like, explosive. Like, I'm gonna either rip your clothes off or I'm gonna fucking slap you in the fucking face. And like, they have such good chemistry together. It's just a shame that Den never truly loved Angie. But yeah, that's decent enough for me.
So we're going to do the award first and then our final thoughts. So, who is most underrated?
That porno. Yeah, just that whole scene, that whole section. It's honestly, like, I usually don't burst out laughing like whilst watching something, but this had both me and Piggy absolutely buckled. So just the whole setup for Ian like watching a porno, it's absolute gold. Just that everybody in that scene, everybody played it amazingly. Yourself?
Yeah, I would go for the porno, but I'm going for the infamous Duff Duff. Kathy and Pete sitting down, just looking at the porno. Who looks at a porno?
Well, they're just watching it, aren't they?
Yeah, but who watches a porno?
Well, I mean,
like,
bit of fun.
I know it's a bit of fun if you're in a couple, but if you're single, like, you don't just, the camera work your man showed on his buttocks, like, fantastic. The way he's pumping that woman, or man, is fantastic, like, 6 out of 10. No, you fucking, do a quick tuggy and hopefully finish.
Well, some people aren't little degenerates like you.
Alright, Mr. I'm innocent.
I am innocent. Never watched a porno for fun, though. I don't think.
He's just sat there watching 2 girls, 1 cup. Or the man sticking the glass bottle up his arse. No?
I mean, I do indeed. I still think my favourite thing about that thing is someone like did an interview for him. Like went and interviewed him about the incident, and he just went, "Yeah, I just don't use glass. I just don't use glass jars anymore. I've moved on to plastic." It's like, what? How about stop? Nah. Didn't even get any help. Legend.
Who needs slapping down?
Probably Den. It has to be Den, doesn't it? Alright, you motherfucker. I don't care that you've slept with someone else, but you better make sure it doesn't come out. It's like, what? That's not on. Like, fucking... That's not... Why? Den! You can't have these double standards, you little asshole. She got with someone to hope to make you jealous and make her think that, like, maybe he'll care about me now. But she fucking doesn't. Oh, that's just... wanker. Den needs slapping down. It's just poor Angie. Like, no wonder she becomes an alcoholic. Oh yeah, who needs slapping down for you, Piggy?
I would go with Dirty Den, but I'm going with Sharon.
Yeah, reasonable. Why does Sharon need slapping down?
Just she's annoying.
Fuck you, Sharon.
Fuck
Scumbag.
you, Sharon Watt. She's a watch, isn't she, at this point?
Yeah.
Fuck you, Sharon Watt. Like, interfering on the porno, interfering about Chaz, interfering about Den's sex life.
Exactly.
Like, Jesus. If Den wants to pump, let him pump. I know he's in a marriage, but like...
That's just like, let him cook. Let him pump, boys. Let him
pump. Like, again, if Den want to pump 6 women, let him pump 6 women. Like, Angie's not going to stand up and be like, how dare you? You just go like, hey, yeah, Dan, do what you like. Well, then again, Dan will be like, did you say something? Angie. What the fuck did you say, Angie? What the fuck did you say? And he'll be like, oh, Dan, I just said, can you please stop? And then he'll like aggressively take off the belt and be like, don't fucking say it again. He'll be like, please, Dan, no. Not saying he would be a wife beater, but the signs are there. But yeah, Sharon needs slapping down. Poor Dan, can't have a pump in peace. But yeah, so our final thoughts. Your thoughts first or my thoughts first?
You go first, mate.
My final thoughts is fantastic 2 weeks of EastEnders. Good to see Den back, and again, love Den. Shout out to Leslie Graham. We go back, I can call him Graham. I've known him for years. He also allows me to call him Huggy for some reason. So yeah, or Huck. But yeah, it was a fantastic week. The porno really buckled me though.
It was very funny.
Not much happened.
No.
I also forgot to mention that Ian is a temporary chef at the Queen Vic, and Ethel quit.
Yes.
It's the whole thing.
Angie was like, how the fuck am I gonna tell her? And Ethel was like, I quit. Sounds nice from Ethel.
It's like, how do I fire Peggy from the Classic Podcast? I quit, Ash. Thank Christ.
Yeah. My thoughts. It was a very good week, honestly. I don't know why. It's just the routine of doing the Classic Podcast. I don't know. A part of me just slightly dreads it, even though I know that I do love Classic EastEnders. But like, it's just that there's a lot going on. It's like, it's 4 more episodes. Bloody hell, we've got to fucking sort this out. But no, it was a very fun week of EastEnders. It was nice to see Den away, but it's lovely to see him back. And yeah, I just look forward to. I always end up finishing watching the episodes. I'm like, I want to watch more. So yeah, there we are. Those are my thoughts on the episode 6 of the Classic Podcast.
Yeah, will I outro it?
Yeah.
I've been joined by Ash.
Den is a shagger.
And I've been Piggy from Watching Walford. Follow us on Twitter/X, Instagram and Twitch at Watching Walford. Subscribe to us on YouTube at Watching Walford. And again, if I don't see you next time, just know I'm sending Leslie after you, and there is nothing you can do. You can put up a fight, albeit he'll just be bones at this point. But without further ado, I will see you on the next one, and we'll see you when we get there.
Bye bye.